Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
Good afternoon and welcome to another Live Out Loud webinar. Today is a very special time as we launch into our 8 weeks of live calls as we are led through the Millionaire Maker's Guide to Creating a Cash Machine for Life by none other than the author herself, founder and leader of Live Out Loud, and now 3-time best-selling author with, I am sure, many more to come, Loral Langemeier. And Loral will be joining us in just a few moments. But first, I want to extend a very special welcome to our friends across the United States and around the globe. I said good afternoon, and that certainly applies to many, but to our friends in Auckland, New Zealand, and Australia, it's early in the morning there. Welcome to you. We extend a hearty good evening to those of you joining us from Prague and London and Scotland and Brussels, Belgium, my. And it's particularly early in Singapore, so a bright good morning to you. My name is Don Duncan. I am one of Loral's team members, and I am thrilled to be your moderator for this 8-week reading room course. Today we'll be moving through the first couple chapters of the Cash Machine for Life book. So as always, you will want to grab a pen and paper and be a very active participant in this process, because the point is to get you into action, and that is exactly what we're about ready to do. First, please, though, a bit of housekeeping. We have doubled our capacity for this call, as we have thousands on the call today and several thousand more that will be listening to the recordings because we couldn't get them in. And if in the future you have difficulty getting onto this call, we want you to know we're doing everything we can to accommodate the response, but it has been huge and has surprised probably even us, I guess, and we don't really surprise very easily. The location for the recordings and all associated referenced material on these calls is going to be www.liveoutloud.com/reading room. So again, that's our website, liveoutloud.com, a good place to check on a regular basis, as we have a lot of exciting programs and educational webinars like this. Liveoutloud.com, followed by a /, and then all one word, reading room. Our office number is 877-7-GET-LOL. That's 877-7-GET-LOL, which translates into 877-743-8565. For those of you that may have a challenge with that number, I think it will work from outside the country, but if not, our direct line is 415-475-4900, 415-475-4900. Loral and her senior team are in Chicago bright and early tomorrow morning for our amazing 2-day workshop, the Wealth Building Blitz. If you are in the Chicago area, you really ought to be joining us, and you may do so by calling our offices and get your seats. This is a very power-packed 2 days of learning from the best of the best regarding the key pieces to building your wealth. If you'd like to hear from the people that do Loral's Incorporation for her cash machines, they will be there. If you want to hear from Loral CPA, her trust people, her IRA specialists, these people and more will be in Chicago tomorrow morning. So call us, 877-7-GET-LOL, if you're not already registered. And if you can't make this one, yes, there will be another one coming in a few months. But as Loral would say, in fact, as Loral always says, why would you wait? All right, so we also have our 3-day cash machine workshop coming up in September in Washington, D.C. That is September 28, 29, and 30 in Washington, D.C. These seats are already filling up very quickly, and we will likely maximize that. So, my goodness, speak with your strategist today. Get your seat for that event secured. This is where we will put these principles of the Cash Machine for Life book into practice and action live with you for 3 incredible action-packed days. The best cash machine minds in the country are going to be there. to support you and to get your cash machine up and running, to show you how to expand your existing business, to double, to triple your revenues, and even how to buy a cash machine if that's what you want to do, something that's already prepackaged. Anything that has to do with cash machines, it will be in Washington, D.C., September 28, 29, and 30. So, again, call our offices for that. All right, then, as you have questions, please do enter them into the Q&A portion of your page there on the right-hand side as you follow along with the slideshow presentation today. We'll get to as many as we possibly can, but please be patient. There's going to be hundreds of questions, and we are doing our best to get to yours. So let's get rolling here. Loral Langemeier, I know you're in Chicago getting ready for tomorrow morning. How are you today?
I'm fabulous, and I am so excited about this experience that we're going to be doing for the next 8 weeks. First of all, I haven't led a live 8-week seminar probably for nearly 2 years. So we all are in for a great summer. Starting here July 12th, we will be going through August 30th, week after week after week. And I know because I actually got the idea about the reading room from a very great master mentor. And I called him when this third book was coming, and I said, this is my third book in 18 months. It's a lot for people to comprehend. I need to do it different. What ideas do you have? What's never been done before? And he said, no author has ever in the history. And remember, this guy's, I think in his 60s. So he's been around in this industry for at least 40 years, at least. And I know he learned from a lot of masters. And he said, to my knowledge, it's never been done that an author spends an entire 8 weeks applying a book that has just hit a bestseller list and making sure that thousands of you out there actually get a cash machine. See, we aren't doing the books, and I'm not just doing the books. So when I talk about we, because I use that term a lot, it's me and my team. I have a great team, Don and the whole Marin team in Northern California. We have a team here in our Tahoe office. We have a team in our Utah office. We have offices in a variety of places. We have coaches all over North America. Actually, we have some in Europe as well that are part of our master coaching team. So when I say we, it's never just Loral getting this whole thing done. It's always a great team of people. We have a brand new team that's going to be coming on helping with our Millionaire Maker board game. That'll be a whole nother team of people who will just be fabulous in helping create millionaires in the world. See, the Millionaire Maker isn't just about Loral being the Millionaire Maker. It's about creating you as millionaire makers so you can create an influence of other people. So I am so excited about this 8 weeks. And I know a lot of you out there probably say, well, why would Loral spend 8 hours of time, plus all the preparation time and all the follow-up time, really, caring that we get this book? Well, first of all, this book, I think, it's pivotal. In fact, so pivotal that we have lots of things going to be built around this book because it's the first book that we have ever seen, heard, why I did it, but it's, the first book ever seen, heard, or even talked about in the history of the financial industry. So the financial industry always will say, and you can go stand in personal finance space at any bookstore, and all of those books will lead with one key theme called get out of debt. Wealthy people do not get out of debt. Wealthy people have an incredible relationship with debt. In fact, they actually carry debt. Like, they don't pay off all their mortgages. They don't pay everything down and live on cash. That's what poor people do. That's what people who are based in an absolute poverty and a sense of what I call insecurity need. Wealthy people carry millions and millions of dollars of debt. Don't tell me that Donald Trump doesn't have mortgages on all of the real estate that he owns across the world. I mean, when he was $900 million or whatever that number is, but it was quite a few hundreds of millions in debt, the last thing he ever did, which is what all those books are telling you to do, granted there's a few more zeros, but it's the same principle. He did not go get out of debt. He created new money and then reorganized the debt. And that is essentially what this book is about, is stop thinking about debt. Do not be in a restrictive place in your life. I want you to create new money with a cash machine. For all of you out there, $208 a day, and that's going to be the theme for our entire 8 weeks. Now, some of you out there will say, well, that's not really what I'm here for, Loral. I want $1 million cash machine. Believe me, I know how to do that. But for the majority of people, and I'll use kind of U.S. statistics, and one of the things, Don, that let's get together for next week is statistics more worldwide, because I am very curious about the statistics worldwide of entrepreneurialism. I'm curious in Prague, and I'm curious in South Africa, and I'm curious in Australia and Singapore and all the countries that are joining us from all over the world, what your entrepreneurial rates are. But I know that ours statistically show that 90% of small businesses fail. Statistically, 50% of our baby boomers here in America, over 50%, are planning on creating a new business, what I call a cash machine, because their portfolio, because of their grand financial planner, never did it. I mean, they just didn't do it right. They planned them for poverty. They didn't plan them to have this grand success at the end of the game. So we are going to be together for 8 weeks. We're going to, in detail, you're going to read chapters, I'm going to read chapters. We're going to bullet those chapters out. I'm going to point to the highlights. You're going to go activate that during these 8 weeks. And during the 8 weeks, I mean, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of you on this call. So again, for those of you who are listening to this as a recording and not live, we apologize. We worked I think we had 4 full-time people for days working on the technology. Boy, that's a cash machine that somebody needs to pick up, is how to get thousands of people, not just 1,000, but thousands, together on a line learning that can actually hold the line and not break down. So we are doing our best. We're going to keep our information out. The other thing that we are going to do, Dawn, is I do want you to capture the frequently asked questions, because I know there are going to be a ton, and I'm going to dedicate a few people to be answering those questions. So not everyone's individual question will get answered, but we're going to group questions. So there might be 40 questions just on one topic about marketing. There might be 60 questions on a topic around sales. So we're going to group them into themes, and we'll be answering. So throughout the 8 weeks, we're going to do our best to get to your questions so you can keep moving and make money on this cash machine. So again, we have nearly 4,000 people registered for this webinar, teleseminar, to be with us for 8 weeks. Now, my challenge to you is to be with me for the 8 weeks. And in fact, I thought of something very creatively last night, that during our call, I'm going to give you a keyword, and then we're going to have the keyword edited out. So at the end of our 8 weeks, we're going to have a raffle, and we're going to give away a free big table, which is a $13,000 gift. It's never been done. But I thought, and again, I called my mentor, and I said, how do we keep people on the line for 8 weeks? If they know they have a recording, why would they come? Sure, you're going to ask some questions and be with me live, but how do I get everybody coming live as much as possible? Because that is where you get more interaction with me. And he and I were brainstorming, and I said, you know what we do? We give something away, but the key word is only given to those who attend live. So during my talk today, I'm going to give you a key word who only those live will get to hear, and then those on the recording will have it edited out. All of your names then will be put into a hat, and we're going to do some drawings. And the big table is just one of many prizes we're going to give away. But having to attend, listen to the recordings, and be very involved is going to be critical for you to have any chance at winning those prizes. So we're going to give away, thousands and thousands, probably, $50,000, $60,000 worth of prizes at the end. My team on the other side is going, oh, she just made more up. But yeah, that's what you do. When you create in your cash machine creator, you'll have all sorts of fun creative ideas. So let's get to the book. As you move into the first slide, I just totally believe this, and I wrote it multiple times in the book. Entrepreneurs are the backbone of wealth building, and it's the truth. Christopher Columbus, page 1, bottom of the first page, Christopher Columbus did not discover America so we could go get jobs at 401ks and have some sense of entitlement. And again, I know there's people all over the world, and I use that funny little phrase of America, but you know what? Your countries weren't founded on that as well. Countries and worlds and systems are built on entrepreneurialism, creative, expansive ideas. It's not built on safe, secure, fixed income. Fixed income is frightening. Fixed income gives you a false sense of security because you don't ever have control. Our whole premise at Live Out Loud and through the Millionaire Maker work is about you taking leadership of your finances in a world where you are not supported to lead. Your financial planner is supported to lead. Your broker is supported to lead. Your CPA, your attorney, all these other professionals are supported to be the leader of your wealth. And at the end of the day, does anyone really care about your results besides you? I always say, it's sort of like being a parent. No one cares about your kids more than you. Sure, you send your kids off to get taught at school, but you know what? If they don't get taught, at the end of the day, whose responsibility is it? It's yours. So at the end of the day, no one's going to care about your financial freedom, your financial success, your entrepreneurial success more than you. So for the frame of this call, $208 a day is going to create $50,000 extra in the next year for you. Now, if that's not enough, then play with those numbers, and that's something we're going to be doing through the course of the 8 weeks. But for today, we're really going to be looking at that number, $208, is an extra $50,000. And average Americans, and again, we'll find that statistic worldwide, but average Americans make in the 50s on an average income throughout America. And we will bring back more statistics. I am curious worldwide what average incomes are. So as we get into the book, I want to point to a few things, which first, my new best friend, Jim Cramer, who is just a fabulous guy, and we have different joint ventures going on thestreet.com. You need to go over there and check out that website. It's fabulous. But I love the initial quote he gave me, which is, you want to keep up with the Joneses, be my guest. You want to trunch the Joneses, don't just read this book, act on it. And that's what we're doing in the 8 weeks while we're together. Now, I want you to go ahead and continue on, because Jim's quote was actually so large we had to dedicate about 2/3 of a page in the beginning of the book. As you move on to further into the book, just one thing I do need to note is that I did dedicate this book to my father, who passed away January 4th, quite unexpectedly and expectedly. He'd been fighting a 10-year battle with cancer, but I was there at the end, and I always wondered where I have this incredible physical endurance to do what I do, and my team knows that I do. I mean, I have enormous capacity to mentally hold volumes of information, to physically just get it done day after day after day, work an enormous rigorous schedule. And as I watched my father pass, I thought, I always wondered where I got this incredible tenacity. And so I just wanted to note that, because I don't ever note that, and he was an extraordinary inspiration to this book. Now, as you move into the book, the foreword, Michael Gerber has been a man that I have followed for years, and I think has done just an extraordinary job of really nailing entrepreneurialism. In his book, The E-Myth, he talks about the entrepreneurial, the manager, and the technician. And I truly believe the reason why a lot of businesses fail is because they are a technician. They're the engineer who made up the idea at 3M for the Post-it sticky pads and never got any credit for it or any money for it probably, made them billions of dollars on the idea, and got so irritated that he finally quit. But you know what he lacked was the entrepreneurial spirit, the entrepreneurial guts to get it done, and then the management ability to have the operations and the finance. So what happens with most entrepreneurial ventures is that the technician launches out on their own, but doesn't have the entrepreneurialism and the management. And then in reverse, there's wild entrepreneurs who launch out on their own, but then don't put the managers in place and don't put the technicians in place, so still don't get very far. So I asked Michael when this book came out, I said, you of all people need to do a foreword of the book. And in fact, this is the first time I ever had a foreword on a book, because it is so important. I think his work is brilliant. I think my work follows his work in not helping you just identify your entrepreneurial manager and technician piece, but then expands it to that larger team of who will be the technicians, who are going to be the managers, and who will be the entrepreneurs, because it doesn't mean that technicians can't have the business. And I think what you'll see in the Cash Machine book is that I provide an opportunity for 100% of the population. And let me give you a little frame on that, because when we started this book, only about 46% of the population of the world was going to be able to activate it, because we forgot about those technicians. I mean, we didn't really forget about them. We just didn't know how to include them. And we were like thinking, how can a technician, how can a person who has real technical detailed skills, who traditionally won't launch out into an entrepreneurial venture, be a part of having a cash machine and still make millions and millions of dollars? Because they are the people, I mean, I'll just be honest, statistically, as you look at it, they're the people who do get left behind. And so I went to work. I went to talk to a lot of people who teach entrepreneurialism at colleges, a variety of colleges across the country. And you know what they said when they read the book? They said, we teach theory, but you're teaching the real deal. And these are very, very, just prestigious. Rice, Cornell. Unbelievable. We have someone from Stanford who was on the technical instruction team down there, said, this is the real stuff. And you allow for the first time technicians to play, because we have this piece in the book called Partner with a Cash Machine. So you're going to build it, you're going to buy it, you're going to fix it, you're going to partner, which now 100% of the population of the world can be in a cash machine. So a technician now who's going to develop a little sticky pad for 3M is going to actually come in from a different perspective and say, I get equity. I get a place to play because I technically created this, and in the past have never been rewarded for it. The entrepreneurs take the ideas, the entrepreneurs took the cash. So in the Cash Machine book, we're going to show you how 100% of you have an opportunity to play like never before in being very, very wealthy through entrepreneurialism. So as we finish this first slide, I want you to really think about, when are you going to wake up your entrepreneurial spirit? I know every person in the world has it. I mean, we were born with it. We were inbred with it as part of our DNA. If you really think of, embedded DNA, genetics, it's part of you. You just haven't been tapped. And especially in America, and I'm going to pick on it, because what isn't just America. I know Europe has the same sort of culture. Canada does too. But we're in this, I call industrial age of go get a job, get good grades. In fact, our school systems are built. Our political systems are built. And not just ours, America, ours worldwide. Schools, politics are built around creating people to be good little worker bees. Now, many of you might say, well, how, if we're all entrepreneurs, who's going to do the work? Now, there's an 80-20 rule in the world, and there will be people who will want to work more entrepreneurially, but they're going to want to partner in. And I think our company at Live Out Loud is a great model for actually what we're teaching, because we do have a huge team around us. And there are a lot of places where people get equity in our model. There's a lot of people where opportunities where people get enormous bonuses and performance, unlimited upside for ideas and generations that they bring into the organization. So we're going to keep modeling. I'm going to use actually what I've created with Live Out Loud as a model for you to see, well, it is a win-win-win-win-win. And you can be part of someone else's vision. I own a company with a couple other partners and a woman who was an executive vice president at Intel, very, very technical person that we're talking about, came to the end of our mentoring program after a year and said, I don't feel like I've really, been super successful because I didn't start a cash machine. I said, well, you know what? We're looking for a chief operating officer, somebody to run the company that we just bought, somebody who can be the technician. And you know what? You can have a great salary, you can have huge bonuses, and you can work for equity over time and be that technician who partners into a company, does a great deal of work, and still wins at the end of the day. I mean, really wins at the end of the day. So as we go into the first chapter, and I'm going to have you, Don, go to the next slide. As I go into the introduction, and I'm going to be going back and forth, so let me just stop here and pause for how to be in this 8 weeks with me, because I go pretty quick and there's a lot of content to cover. You're going to have the webinar, and you're going to have a PowerPoint that you can download later that'll be up on our link with the reading room. You should also have your book and the notes you want. And then you should have a notebook. So there should be 3 things in front of you at all times when you're working through this 8 weeks. One is the book, and it should just be absolutely written all over. Do not think these are pristine. If you want a pristine one with an autographed copy, come see me live somewhere. I'll autograph the copy, put it on your shelf. And then you get another book, and that's your working book. This is a working book. It's like your working guide. You're going to write all over it. The book I'm working from right now is written all over it. It's highlighted all over it. Has my notes all over it. I expect you to have the same sort of thing. And then you're going to have your PowerPoints with possible notes all over it. And then here is the absolute critical key, because I don't think people know how to take notes. And a professor in college told me this a long, 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 long time ago. I hate to even say how long ago. It's frightening that could I even say my 20 years coming up from college? Eeks. Oh, that's frightening. We won't talk about that. So on a piece of paper about 2/3 across, I want you to draw a line vertically down the page. And the far right column is where you're going to write actions. And you're going to take all your actions from the notes. The other left part, which is the majority of it, is just general notes. Because what I find is most people take notes and then they never pull the actions out to put them in their calendar, which is how they operate their day. So this is an interesting activity we've just done, but it's never integrated. So the only good way that you're going to integrate your activities and your actions is by keeping your actions off to the side or put them on a sticky note and then immediately take them to your day timer, take them to your computer, to your calendar, and log them. You have to make this part of your life. This cannot be an extra thing you do. This has to become what you do. So for those of you who have jobs, I had a job when I created my first cash machine. And the biggest thing that I did that got me straddled out of that job fast enough was I actually started operating in the world that I owned my cash machine. I lived in my cash machine, and oh, by the way, I had to go to this thing called my job for a while. So I completely reversed my activities, my behavior, my psychology, who I spent time with. I stopped doing those evening activities where you go complain about your boss and you get smashed on a Friday because you hated your week. You just stop all that craziness. You say, I'm a cash machine entrepreneurial owner, because I promise you, On Friday night, you don't go with a bunch of your employee friends. On Friday night, you go with people you met at the chamber meeting. You might go out and do some sporting activity on the weekend with other entrepreneurs, but you're hanging out with people who build cash machines, who live and thrive in creative idea generation and create new money. And you want something, you go create it. You never say, what am I giving up because I want something new. You can have everything you want in this lifetime. You can have it all. I think I'm living proof. I wanted to move to Tahoe. I lived up here. I had a house up here. I'm sorry, I came up here all the time. It felt like I lived up here. But I got tired of the commute, and I said one day in 2005, the end of the year, I said, I'm moving. I'm going to take me and my son, and we're moving to Tahoe. My whole office said, well, what are we going to do? I said, you're going to run the office. You're all great. You can handle it. And that didn't come without some bumps and bruises. But I truly believe you get to have it all, and you have to lead it. No one's going to lead you to it. Now, in this whole process, I'm going to give you as much as I know, because I know how to do this. I remember those mornings at 5 in the morning where I'd get up and I'd coach somebody on the East Coast because it was 8 o'clock their time, and I would coach all the way up until I had to go into my job in the city in San Francisco. And then I would take my lunch break, I would go out of the building, and I would go do some more of my cash machine work. And then immediately when I could cut the day, I would then get back into my cash machine. And my whole day started roaming around cash machines. And all of a sudden, money started coming in the door. I mean, within months. I went to my, supervisor. I said, I'm going part-time because I have so much other stuff going on. And they were stunned. And in less than 4 months, once I truly committed to getting a cash machine up and running, I quit my job. And I know that it's possible. I see it done all the time at our big tables. In less than 120 days, it is very doable for those of you who are listening to the call that are straddling to build a cash machine, get enough money in the door that you can move it to a bigger level and stop straddling, for those of you who choose to do that. As we go to the next slide, I want you just to notice that in 2005 alone, 675,000 people, and this is only in America, started new cash machines. The reason that most of them fail is most fail due to lack of knowledge of application. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply the book. See, a lot of you, and I know this because I coach so many people, say, well, I don't know how to be an entrepreneur. Well, let's do it together. We have 8 weeks. We're going to read the book together. We're going to apply the book together. So it isn't just an interesting theoretical exercise. I want you truly to go get a cash machine. So on the next slide, you're going to see what is a cash machine. A cash machine is a legitimate, legal, structured business venture that uses your skill sets. It's modeled after a similar successful business. Now, I want you to underline, we're going through the steps of building a cash machine. It uses your skill sets. Number one, write a big number one there. It's modeled after a similar successful business. Number two, it's developed in weeks, sometimes days, sometimes hours. It takes advantage of team. It generates immediate cash. That's in number three, because your revenue model, to feed your wealth cycle. And number 4 and 5 are marketing and sales. But a cash machine is something that you're going to immediately do. It does not say, do what you love and the money will come. You may not love the first cash machine you ever built. I mean, I promise you I didn't, but I did it anyway because I knew that it was my fastest path to cash. In the back of the book, you'll see, find your fastest path to cash. This is about immediate, $208 a day. Some of you, if you're really stuck, I can promise you, your mothers probably taught you, or fathers, but mostly probably your mothers, how to clean a house. Now, you may not like to clean a house, but I can guarantee you there isn't a place in the world that you cannot make over $300 a day cleaning a house. And now that has already taken you over $60,000. So for those of you who absolutely hate your job, go get a whole bunch of house cleaning jobs and just clean houses. You say, well, I hate that. That's a horrible, what a horrible cash machine. You know what? You're free financially. See, I don't believe that when people say I want financial freedom, what does that really mean? I really know that it means, because I've interviewed and talked to too many people, that truly means freedom of choice. So I'm going to choose what I want to do all day long. Well, if your job isn't the place that you want to go choose to go do that thing, then choose something different. Choose a cash machine that's going to make you money. And again, immediate money. We're talking about weeks. Tutoring. Any one of you on the call that has kids, sent anyone through school, helped anyone with homework, you can tutor. There's no big legal requirements to say I'm a tutor and I'm certified. What are the simple ones? I mean, there's just so many simple things you can do. Be a landscaper. Someone recently in our community heard about my book, read it, and is a chef, hated her job, was having a huge commute down to the valley, and said, you know what, I'm going to be a personal chef. I said, good, come to our house. I mean, cook us food, put it in our refrigerator, put it in our freezer, like pre-do all this food so we eat healthier as a family because we're on the run so much. Like, there are so many things every one of you can do immediately. For you techies out there, there's so many people. Go to senior centers, go to assisted living centers, go to RV parks. People need technical help across the country, and they don't know how to get it. In fact, what they do is they out of no other choice, will sit on helpline tech lines for 4 hours to get somebody to answer a simple little tech question. Are you kidding? I mean, there are so many things every one of you can do immediately to create a cash machine. So we're not talking about do what you love, build a big business plan, study and study and study, go to 19,000 courses, and 4 years later still not have a piece of real estate. I mean, the real estate is a great cash machine, but you got to know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, do not pick that up as your first cash machine. It'd be like picking up being a doctor as a cash machine. You got to go study on some of these things. But I'll tell you that model company is a very key piece, and we aren't going to get into that chapter today. But a model company is very critical for you to be successful quickly. Now, the one thing that is at the end of this slide that leads us to the next is building that wealth cycle. Now, a wealth cycle is our trademark term, and it is based on patterns of money. I want you to write that down, patterns of money. As you look at this, an income and expense, right, income and expenses is a P&L. That's a profit and loss statement. That's all the money you make. That's all the money you expend. That's horizontal. You look below, that's a balance sheet. All that you own is your assets. All that you owe is your liabilities. So assets minus liabilities is your net worth. So we're the first company who put a P&L on top of the balance sheet to show you the pattern of money. See, we're taught this lifestyle cycle pattern. We're taught to make a fixed income over on the income side. So if you drew a little dollar sign on the income side and then you drew an arrow down to the liability side, that's what we're taught. We're taught to make money and then go spend it. We're taught to buy a big house. We're taught to get big cars and an RV and a boat and all this stuff. So then as you follow the arrows up, you end up with a huge monthly bill that you have to pay every month. And then round and round you go. You get so caught into buying stuff that doesn't make you money, it takes years to get out of this lifestyle cycle. We're completely taught the wrong pattern. And everywhere in the world we're taught a lifestyle cycle as kind of the first great thing to do. And what I know is you really follow wealthy people, what you really need to do is create a wealth cycle. And you could do this for your children and then teach them, and then it will absolutely change. See, I know, and my intent is to absolutely change the world of finance. Now, some of you say, well, that's a big claim, and a lot of people say, I know, but I'm going to do it. I know that I'm one of the few that have had sustainable programs go look. Who has had a mentor program that is now sustainable and it's going on its 6th year of duration? Who's had 10 years of financial coaching and not changed the model much? Who's had sustainable wealth-building programs that after they make a 1 or 2 year run through the United States or America or Southeast Asia, that's a really great new place to go capitalize on a lot of money, but after they make a run of a year or two, where's that program? And I'm not going to name names because you can go do some homework and you can go look at all the other authors that stand side by side and say, not to my knowledge, none of those programs have had more than a 3-year duration of standing. We're going on our 6th. I'm just customizing a building here in South Lake Tahoe that is going to be designed for big tables, which we're going to continue to do for years and years and years. And it's custom designed with a very specific 55 seats. It will never go over. It can't fit more than 55 people. It might fit 56 or 57. It's kind of squished. But it's very custom designed to specifically keep a very specific thing. So my point in that is sustainability. And that's not just sustainability because we do it. It's sustainability because I need you to do it. I don't want you to do a cash machine just like a little flash in the pan, like I'm just going to do it real quick to make some money. I want you to do it sustainably now and then sustainably do it later, because I know, I'm going to go back to what I was going to say, is if you start doing this with your children, I know that it's going to take, because I've already kind of mapped it out, 2 generations. So within, I believe, 20 years, in my lifetime, financial literacy can happen in school systems. It can change. I know the echo boomers, which is about up to year 77, 78, like that whole new group. So anybody from 77, 78 on that have just been born, I mean, they're very, very amiable and moldable to shift. Our baby boomers are dying from the lack of financial security and the horrible planning that has happened to their portfolios, yet they have trillions of dollars to pass on to their next gen, which is, their kids are in the Gen X's. There's 3 generations that are in the world right now: baby boomers, Gen X's, and Echo Boomers. There's 3 different generations, and I truly believe the millennials are the next ones coming. Those are our kids. If for any of you on the call, if you've got kids that are under 20, the next generation is called millennials. So I truly believe the millennials can change the world with money, but they have to do it this way. You have to build wealth cycles first, and you have to create new money. You need to stop worrying about debt and stop building big lifestyles built on no basis for wealth. And so that was a whole mouthful, so let me break that down. Wealth cycles mean I'm going to make unlimited income. So right there up in the income column, there's no fixed income. I don't want any of you to be an occupation at a fixed income ever again. Like, there is no reason for it. If you're currently in a job, go back today, renegotiate for a bonus for your performance, and then you got to perform, but negotiate for some more money. We want you to create a cash machine. I want you to have unlimited cash. And with that money, you're going to put it away. You're going to put it into the asset column. We call it a wealth account. And you're going to keep that money there until you accumulate enough money to buy a true asset. True asset. You're not just going to throw it at some random stocks in the market. You can put some money in the market if you know what you're doing. If you don't put it there. I have a doctor, for example, who made a lot of money, spent it all, had the complete lifestyle cycle, great-looking life, no assets. Said, I'm not impressed. You have no assets for the basis of your wealth. You look like you're wealthy, but you're not. You have no assets. Assets are where what you own truly lives. So let's start putting $10,000 away a month. And for him, that was not a lot of money because he made a lot of money. I said, with $10,000, we're going to buy a cash flow house every month. We're going on year 2. I know he owns over 20 little houses creating cash flow every month. And that money that comes back up is called cash flow. So let me pick on that just for a moment. A cash machine is not an asset portfolio that produces cash flow. So let me say that again. Cash machine is not cash flow from an asset portfolio. Now, some of you that are baby boomers that are out there and older and say, well, I have a lot of lazy assets that if I just move my assets into a cash flow process, I will make more passive income. Absolutely will. But that is not a cash machine. A cash machine, as you go back to the other slide, it's an entrepreneurial effort that you're going to actively engage in doing some activity. You can call it work, call it whatever you want, but you're going to make some new money. And that is not just with your portfolio. Cash flow is not a cash machine, and people get that confused, so I want to point that out. I truly believe when you build a wealth cycle first, you can do this with your children. All the money that they make, put into a wealth account, start strategically investing for back to passive income. I truly believe we can make millionaires of our children before they're 20 years old, simply. In fact, I have a goal of doing it for mine before they're 10. And then I'm going to write a book about that once I get that done. And then I'll teach you all how to do that because I'm figuring it out right now. Because I really believe in less than 2 generations we can change the world of money as it currently exists on the planet, where it's this private, horrible relationship that everybody abdicates the responsibility to somebody else. It's time for leadership worldwide around their money, and it's time for entrepreneurialism to come back. It will absolutely change a lot of the problems, especially poverty that we have in the world, when people learn to make new money, not rely on everyone else to do it for them. So wealth cycles first, then build a lifestyle. So for those of you who love big lifestyles, and you like big houses and cars and joy, I don't care. You can have all that stuff, but build it right. Build the wealth cycles first, then go build your lifestyle.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.